everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to screen record on Zoom on my computer and talk you guys through TSW or Topical Steroid Withdrawal. The reason why we're going to be doing it this way is because we are actually going to be going over Itsam, ITSAN.org, and I'm going to screen record going over this website because this is the top website for people with TSW. This organization is doing a lot of really good things to help people who have been affected by steroids. So we're going to go over this website and hopefully get you guys more information about what steroids are, why you withdraw from them, and all of that. So switching over to my computer, we're going to screen record and go from here. So when you get to the Itsam website, Topical Steroid Withdrawal Syndrome Support, you have what is TSW, Topical Steroids 101, Coping with TSW, Resources, for doctors, and Stories and Photos. And I think the most important thing here is the for doctors section, because I'm pretty sure Itsam is trying to improve the relationship between dermatologists and their patients when it comes to eczema. TSWS, also known as Topical Steroid Addiction or Red Skin Syndrome, RSS. It's basically from the use of topical steroids to treat a skin problem such as eczema. They can also be prescribed with psoriasis. So the condition is from using topical steroids, but they want to make sure that you're aware that topical steroids can also be called topical corticosteroids, glucocorticosteroids, and cortisone, and they can be in a cream, ointment, oil, gel, and lotion. Some are over the counter and some require a prescription. Why do you flare in the places that you flare when you have TSW? If you have eczema in these areas and you have a history of using steroids, you might want to look into this website and really understand TSW more to see if you actually have it. You're going to see it appear on your chest, you're going to see it on your wrists, your face, your neck. And I see these most commonly. Some people will actually get TSW completely full body, especially if you've used topical steroids for a really long time. And I've always wondered why. Why do you flare up on your chest, face, and wrists? It's actually much different from eczema. So eczema usually appears on the hands, it can appear on the feet, the insides of your elbows, the backs of your knees, sometimes on your stomach, but you're not really going to see eczema take over the face, the neck, and the chest in the way that TSW does. I went to Instagram. I have a whole Instagram, Coach Michelle Mills, where I started talking about TSW. I wanted to know more, and I proposed the question, why? Why do people flare in that particular area? And the reason why people flare in that particular area, when you are on steroids, they block nitric oxide. So nitric oxide essentially dilates your blood vessels, allow for more blood to flow through. In a lot of cases, nitric oxide is a really good thing. But in the case that you have TSW, it can actually be pretty bad that you are suppressing nitric oxide. So when you come off of steroids, a overabundance of nitric oxide gets into your blood. And so this means that your blood vessels are dilating. And if I say anything that's off, I encourage you guys to read this website, Itsam, because that's going to tell you a little bit more precisely. I just want to give you general information here. So if I say something that doesn't sound quite right, I'm trying my best here. Your blood vessels dilate, which means that they get bigger. And so you're actually going to see those TSW flares in the places where there is thinner skin and more blood vessels. So that's actually really, really interesting. Let's go back into the website and check it out and see what we can find. So just click Topical Steroids 101. It's going over what topical means. Then it's going into what are steroids, what exactly is a steroid. So actually, here's where I want to pause and talk to you guys again. So when you have eczema, I always think about this as a chart. Actually, we're gonna make this even more fun, and I'm gonna try to draw you how I see this being. So let me go to this place where I can draw real fast. Okay, this is the way that I see eczema. So I'm gonna create some charts. Okay, on this side, this is going to be a normal human being. So normal human being gets the color blue. So on this left side, we're gonna have inflammation. So a normal person has this amount of inflammation, and over here it says anti-inflammatory, natural steroids from the adrenal gland. So your adrenal gland can create anti-inflammatories. So they are, I'll actually show you this, glucocorticoids. So they are produced in the adrenal gland, and they are actually anti-inflammatory. So in people who don't show inflammatory conditions, this is even. So there's like this invisible line where your adrenal gland can make enough steroids, natural steroids, to keep up with your body. So a long time ago, when researchers were researching eczema, they were like, oh, okay, so when people have eczema, so eczema is going to be red, their inflammation is way, way, way high, right? And so this line right here is the line that shows you the amount of natural steroids your body can produce and keep up with. And so if this is the limit right here and your inflammation is up here, what researchers did were they were like, oh, let's just give them fake hormones to reduce the inflammation. To get your inflammation down, this bar right here is a steroid. And so the real way of healing eczema is to reduce your inflammation so your body can keep up with it. But instead of thinking that way, researchers and whoever decided, oh, let's just supplement steroids to keep up with the amount of inflammation. So now you raised this bar up here and it appears as though there's no inflammation, when in reality there is. There's plenty of inflammation. So when you're coming off of steroids, bye-bye steroids, this line now drops back way lower actually. So now the amount that your adrenal gland produces naturally is way down here because your adrenal gland is actually completely addicted to the steroids. It said, oh, we're getting it from another source, so I'm not gonna make any anymore. So now your body deals with all of this inflammation, which is way more than before when you even started steroids. So I hope this was insightful as to inflammation and why it shows back up and what's going on. There's a lot that happens when you get off of steroids. And here's age guidelines for topical steroids. It's very interesting. It goes through the different types of steroids, how they look, and the age group for them. Are topical steroids considered safer than steroids that are injected or taken by the mouth? And they're basically saying there's a lot of factors that go into it. Age, thickness of skin, condition of the skin, percent of the body surface that's treated, time frame that's used. That's kind of a huge thing when it comes to TSW, is how long you've used them for. So then it goes into potency, which is just explaining like when you're taking a stronger steroid versus a not stronger steroid. Now it goes into the side effects of steroids, and there are a lot actually, and I didn't realize that hyperglycemia and type 2 diabetes would be related to this. That's actually really interesting. Osteoporosis, so bones become weak. It's actually quite disturbing. So let's go back to this front page because I know there's quite a bit here. So what is TSW? Success stories for doctors. They have an overview video which is really interesting and actually dives into the things related to the blood vessels, as you can see from this image, which is super interesting. Explore ways to care for TSW. So another thing that I have to tell you is that because your adrenal gland is not producing the anti-inflammatories anymore, stress is huge when it comes to TSW. So stress is going to make you flare when you have TSW. So if you have a busy, crazy life, I encourage you to seek help for this stress. So when you have TSW, let's say something stressful happens at work, that's going to show up in your skin. It's just because that your adrenal gland can't keep up with the cortisol, the stress hormone that's being produced. And so you're really being affected by stress. What I'm going to do is actually in the description bar down below. So what's really neat about this website is that they have a survival guide dealing with the itch and what to expect. So if you're somebody who's new to the TSW community, there are a lot of really amazing people on Instagram that may inspire you and help you through this journey. I'm just going to pull them up really fast. So first you have Lynette, and she's a TSW warrior. She's really trying her best with it. She's somebody who does have full body TSW, and she's really amazing. Recently I've been introduced to this page, TSW Atlas, which if you looked at this video right here, it's actually mentioning this doctor. So it's the same doctor over here on Instagram. So treat TSW like TSW, not eczema. This is another really good person that you can follow. And then one of my friends is Joanne. And Joanne is a TSW warrior as well. She had complete full body TSW. So joining the TSW community and interacting with people who have gone through it can also be something that really helps you through this journey. Another thing that I found on this website is they really do help you try to get through the itch, because obviously the itch is one of the hardest things when it comes to eczema and TSW. And I wanted to actually read you a safe way to scratch. So if you're somebody who's constantly scratching your skin, what you can do is really damage your skin and cause infection. So they said that there is a safer way to itch, and they actually suggest using a rubber comb because it doesn't break the skin, but it relieves the itch. So I washed the comb with soap and hot water, then sterilized it with alcohol. I did this each morning and each night so I wouldn't get an infection. Before I picked up the comb, I would say gentle, just to remind myself I'm only trying to relieve the itch, not gouge a hole in my skin. And that actually goes into something that I've been talking about recently, which is the mental aspect of the scratch and itch. I have a dear friend who's going through TSW, and she has this awful patch of eczema, and it's essentially an addiction. It's a patch of skin that has thickened because of her addiction to scratching. So the way that I'm trying to coach her through that is by mentally telling yourself no. And I know this sounds really silly and you're like, oh, okay, whatever. But she actually tried doing the technique that I told her, and she did not itch in her sleep that night. It all has to do with your mental strength. So listening to videos about developing mental strength or conditioning your thoughts can be really important. One thing that I suggest to explain the no thing a little bit further is when I had severe eczema, I would lay in bed that night and think about my hands staying put where they are and not itching. And I would say no over and over in my head. And I was trying to condition myself and my subconscious to not itch while I was sleeping. Believe it or not, it worked, and it helped my dear friend with TSW. Of course, I know a lot of you are going through the most intense itch you have ever been through in your entire life, so try the rubber comb, but also try strengthening your thoughts and trying to relieve yourself of the itch. Another technique for the mental aspect of it is actually to say 1, 2, and right before you get to 3, there's this space of quiet. Quiets your thoughts, quiets the itch, it quiets everything because you're in void. And while you're in that, ask yourself if you want to itch. If you're very itchy, go 1, 2, and during this void, ask yourself if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that can help you kind of catch when you have that addiction to scratching. You're not even scratching for a reason, you're just anxious. And that's super common and really normal. And I wanted to thank you for watching this video because I'm just really trying to spread information. I have such an amazing community on Instagram where you guys have been teaching me about TSW, teaching me what the good resources are, and how to teach more people. And so if I'm somebody who can come on here and be a face and be somebody that can spread the information, that is all I'm trying to do. And if there's anything I said wrong, please correct me in the comments down below. But I hope this video did give you some resources and understanding of topical steroid withdrawal, TSW. So I will see you guys in my next video. Be sure to subscribe because I post videos about eczema and TSW, and I just want to help you guys heal your skin the way that I was able to heal mine.
I like crashing waves, but I wanna see them at first.